Hi guys, thank you so much for watching my video. The reason why I made this video was to talk about Ramsay Hunt Syndrome, which is a condition that I was recently diagnosed with. I thought that sharing my experience would hopefully help anyone out there who's also going through the same thing. I also thought that it would be really useful to share what I did for my recovery, just to let you guys know. And also, I thought that it's very important to raise awareness about the condition in general because I don't really feel like many people know about it, and I don't feel like many GPs know about it either. So I thought that it would be useful to kind of go over the symptoms. I know certainly if I knew the symptoms when I was going through it, that I probably would have been able to diagnose myself a lot quicker than I was diagnosed. So, what Ramsay Hunt syndrome is it's basically a virus which is caused by the same virus as the chickenpox virus. So it causes a shingles outbreak, which is usually in one of your ears. In my case, it was my left ear. And with that also comes hearing loss, severe earache, severe headache, dizziness, fatigue, and the worst symptom of them all, well, the one that I found the worst, is that it also can cause facial paralysis. And how that is caused is because the nerve becomes inflamed, which presses on, I believe it's called your seventh cranial nerve, which sits just along here. And when that becomes inflamed, it stops sending, the messages that it usually sends, which causes the whole affected side of your face to lose movement. So you can't smile, you can't blink, you can't chew, you basically just can't use that side of your face as you would normally. It is a really scary place to be, and a dark place to be because you kind of just don't recognize yourself anymore. And when you do go to the doctors, you are basically told that you're likely to recover, but there's no guarantee. And also, it's just a waiting game. Like there's no time for you to recover that's given. They're just pretty much like it could be anywhere between 3 weeks to a year to 2 years, and then you hear stories on YouTube and Google of people that have been suffering with it for years and years and years, and it is just really scary because it's kind of like you just don't know how long it's going to take for you to recover, and if you'll ever recover, if you'll ever be the same again. So yeah, it's not a really great place to be. I also just wanted to say that it's super important that you try and get treatment as soon as you can and get diagnosed, because if you get diagnosed within the first 72 hours of the onset of your symptoms, then you're more likely to recover. I think the odds are like 70%, whereas if you miss that window, those chances reduce down to 50%. So obviously, the sooner you get diagnosed and the sooner you get treatment, the better. There is also another condition called Bell's palsy, which is very similar. However, it doesn't include the shingles rash. It literally just includes the inflammation of the nerve and the facial paralysis. So I've heard that a lot of doctors sometimes diagnose you with Bell's palsy when you have Ramsay Hunt syndrome. And the difference is with Bell's palsy, you don't really need antivirals, you just need the steroids. Whereas with Ramsay Hunt, you need to get those antivirals as soon as you can. When I suffered with it, I couldn't blink my eye at all. I couldn't smile. My face was very droopy. So it was quite bad. And I really did want to make this video when I did have those symptoms, just so I could kind of show you guys what the symptoms are. But I just was on so much medication during that time that I really just couldn't find it in me to make the video. But I mean, I will put some diagrams up so you do know what it does look like. Luckily for me, I did recover after I think just about 5 weeks. So that's why I think it's very important to kind of know the symptoms. And yeah. So For anyone that has been diagnosed, the first thing that you probably do want to do is make sure that your eye is well looked after, particularly if you can't blink. Because where you're not blinking, there's a risk that your eye can become dry, and that can then cause damage to the cornea, which can obviously cause further complications with your eye, which you really don't want to get when you're already dealing with Ramsay Hunt syndrome. That's the last thing that you need. So, what I did was I always kept my eye closed, and I did that by wearing an eye patch, so kind of like this one here. So I hated having this on, but I also hated the fact that my eye was at risk. So I kept this on pretty much most days. When I went to bed, I taped my eyes shut to make sure that it didn't open up at night without me realizing and get dry. I know that sounds really weird, and by the way, that's not normal tape, it's surgical tape. But it was really useful. It helped keep my eyes closed at night, and it just gave me that peace of mind that my eye was protected while I was sleeping. Um, when you do go to the doctors, they normally should refer you to an eye specialist just so they can check over your eye, and they should also provide you with eye drops to help keep your eye moist. So with me, they gave me Celluvisc, which I would put in during the day 3 to 4 times depending on how dry my eyes were. And then in the evening, they gave me an ointment to put in my eye, which is basically like Vaseline for your eye, which sounds really weird, but obviously it's safe because it's for your eye. But it really does keep your eye moist overnight. So definitely, do that. Make sure you keep your eye moisturized as much as you can. The second thing they do in terms of treatment is give you antivirals and steroids. So this antivirals are to obviously deal with the virus. The steroids are to keep the inflammation down. So that's to do with the inflammation of the nerve. And the third thing that I was given by my doctor was antibiotics as well. So there's quite a lot of medication, which is why I was feeling so nauseous when I was on them. So I also just really wanted to talk about the things that I tried myself, which weren't prescribed by the doctors, but just things that I read would help through research or just stuff that I wanted to try in general. But before I do talk about that, I did just want to say that I'm not a doctor, so I'm literally just sharing my experience with you and going through what helped me. Obviously, with this condition, you can't really say that one thing is what helped me, because at the end of the day, it could have just been natural healing. But these are certainly things that I feel like helped me, so I thought that it was worth talking about and sharing with you guys. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was acupuncture. So I got the idea to do acupuncture by a YouTube video that I was watching actually, and I believe I started to have it within 2 weeks of the onset of my symptoms. Um, so what would happen was the acupuncturist would put needles on the affected side, and she would actually hook those up to a machine which would send electrical pulses through my face, which felt really good at the time. And then I think she would leave that on for about half an hour. Then after that, she would remove the needles and do a cupping massage. Um, so I was really scared because I hate needles. And for anyone out there who is also scared of needles, just take it from me that it really isn't that bad, that it's totally bearable. It just feels a bit strange, if anything, and it's totally worth it. Um, so yeah, I think I had about 4 or 5 sessions of the acupuncture done, and by the fifth session, I was told that I didn't really need anything further because um, my face had pretty much already healed. So I do really think that it was a good idea to do that. She also gave me herbal medicine, um, but I can't say for sure if that helped. But certainly, like if you do go acupuncture and they do offer you medicine, I would take it because I don't see any risk with having it. Just obviously make sure that it's okay to have with whatever medicine you're taking that you've been prescribed. Um, so yeah, so acupuncture is definitely a good shout. It's really important to just get as much rest as possible, and to eat healthy, and make sure that you're not in any stressful environment. Try and stay as calm as you can and just really focus on your recovery. If you can take time off work, then I think you really should. I know for me that really helped, because I wasn't around anything stressful and I was just staying completely calm. And I was able to look after myself and put my health first. And I do feel like that's really key during the first few weeks. Um, so yeah, for anyone that is going through it, just keep strong, try and keep a positive attitude, because I think that really helps. I know that it is really hard to do that, but just, just have faith that you will get better. And don't look at daily progress, look at weekly progress, because it does take a while to get better. If you do feel like you're getting any of the symptoms back after you've finished your medicine, definitely go straight back to the doctors and try and get a second round of antivirals, just to be on the safe side if you feel that's best for you. There are loads of support groups as well. So on Facebook, there's one, I think it's called Ramsay Hunt Support Group. But yeah, it's really useful because there's loads of people on there who have gone through Ramsay Hunt, and they share their experiences, they share what they've been advised by their doctors. If you have any questions, you can post on there and you'll get answers from so many people that have had experience with it, which is great, and you get the support as well. So definitely, I would recommend joining those groups. Also, just let your loved ones help out as much as they can. It definitely helps to know that you're not alone in it. I know that with me, I had so much support from my husband, my family, and my friends, and that really helped me get through it. I also just wanted to say that recovery can be a very long journey. Even with myself, although my facial paralysis has pretty much gone away, I still suffer from other symptoms. So I still have tinnitus, I still have dizziness, I still feel so tired. Um, I'm nowhere near what I was before, but I know that it's still early days and I'm hoping that those symptoms will clear up. Um, but it's just one of those conditions that it just takes its time to recover. I think that covers everything about my experience. But if you do have any questions, just leave comments and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as I can. I wish anyone who's going through Ramsay Hunt syndrome good luck, and just know that you're not the only one out there who's going through it. There are other people. I know that it can feel like, why is this happening to me? I've never seen it happen to anyone else, but there are loads of people who are dealing with it, and for that reason I think it is really helpful to go on the support groups. So I would definitely stay open to that and stay positive.